Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 12, National Football League, Green Bay Packers hosting the Minnesota Vikings, NFC North, family business. And if you're the Green Bay Packers, this is one you really need to get. You're at home, a 2-8 Minnesota Vikings ball club, struggling to score points, struggling to win football games. No Aaron Rodgers. The Bears and the Lions are atop this division, and they could easily run away with this division if they take care of business in their destinations on Sunday. You don't know when Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. Every single game counts down the stretch. And this is probably the last opponent that you'll see. Even though it's family business, even though you throw records out of the window when it's family business, what happens in the family stays in the family. I know. Trust me, I know. But this is probably going to be your last opponent that you see with a record this bad. You need to take advantage of the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't care who's at quarterback. Scott Tolzien, Matt Flynn, Seneca Wallace. I don't care who it is. You need to find a way to win. I don't care how you do it. Defensively, you force turnovers, you stop the run, whether you go out and you sling it 45 times or you run it with Eddie Lacy, Jonathan Franklin, James Starks. I don't care how you get it done. If you are the Green Bay Packers, you need to find a way to win this game. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, you come into this game, and Chris Cook, I think he said it best, and I totally, wholeheartedly agree with him. This Packers team is the most vulnerable we've seen them in a very long time. I mean, think about it. The Brett Favre years, never been a vulnerable football team. Hey, they've had some injuries. They've been a team that, maybe didn't overachieve the way we think they were going to in that particular season, but never did you go into a game at Lambeau in late November thinking this Packers team could lose to a 2-8 football team. But now you go from those Favre years straight to the Rodgers years, and it's been no drop-off in Green Bay. Yet now, for the first time in the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay, he's been out for an extended period of time, and we don't know when he'll be back. And this team is struggling. So if you're the Vikings, you feel like you can go into Lambeau and get a win. You played well for a half in Seattle. The week prior to that, you were able to get a victory versus the Redskins. So you're feeling really good about yourself if you're Minnesota. You feel like, hey, why not us? Why can't we march into Lambeau, run the football, not turn it over, have Christian Ponder play an exceptional game and come out of here with a W? Why can't we stop the Packers' passing attack? Why can't we slow down their rushing attack and win this football game? They're vulnerable. So the table was set. Cards all laid on the table. Let's see who would win this matchup between the Green Bay Packers, who desperately need a win. They're riding a 3-game losing streak. After starting the season 5-2, and they looked like they were going to run away with this division, honestly, because the Lions, they're not ready for the prime time. They're not ready for the show quite yet. And the Bears, we know they do this annually. They start the season fast, and then they finish the season mighty slow. So you knew the Packers had the opportunity to just take off. And they were preparing to do just that. And then they have the Aaron Rodgers injury. So let's take a look at this board and see this game from the eyes of me, Louie T. So 2-8 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 5-5 Green Bay Packers. So the Packers get the scoring started in this game, and this is one of the funniest runs you'll ever see from a quarterback. And it was actually a good one. I mean, the white guy actually has some moves on this one. Scott Tolzien getting frisky out there, man. He looked like a brother on this run. Flashes of Steve Young mixed in with a little bit of Randall Cunningham or something. Scott Tolzien with the highlight reel, and he took me back on this one. He took me back with this run because that spin move, that reminded me of some Game Day 97. You remember the Game Day 97 cover with Jerome Bettis jumping up on the cover. That reminded me of some Game Day 97 PS1 action. You know what I'm saying? That spin was slow motion, but it was a beautiful spin. And he set it up so gorgeously because he rolls out, bootleg, and there's a defender in his face immediately. So he goes to pump it, but he doesn't. But the defender sees him looking like he wants to throw the football, jumps in the air, which gives Tozine the opportunity to flee in the opposite direction. As he takes off, there's Latroy Guion sitting right there waiting for him. And Scott says, not today, buddy. And he puts on a spread move. And it was like it was in slow motion, but it was beautiful. And he spins, and Latroy Guion is like, and it's slow, it's just all happening in slow motion. And he spins, and then he caps it off with a gorgeous dive into the end zone. It doesn't get any better than that. Scott Tozine in the end zone, 5-yard TD run. It's 7-0. I'm hyped. I'm hyped like I just did that. I felt like, woo! I want to go out there and hit somebody. I mean, that was a gorgeous spin. Scott Tozine got my blood curling on that one. So it's 7-0. It's Green Bay Packers. It's Scott Tozine. Let's go, Scott. Let's go. So the ensuing kickoff, this is a dangerous man. That's a bad man. Cordell Patterson, monstrous kickoff return, sets Vikes up for a field goal. So they answer the Packers score with a field goal. It's 7-3. Cordell Patterson. What else can I say? Now he's starting to get it as a receiver as well. He started last week against Seattle, first career start, and he's starting to get it as a receiver as well. This is a dangerous man. And Mike Mayock told you during the draft that with the ball in his hands, and I disagree with him, but he said with the ball in his hands, he's the most explosive player in that draft. I thought that guy was Tavon Austin. You're starting to see that, but look, Mike might have a case here because every time I see this guy with the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. He is highly explosive. So it's 7-3. A drive that started at the 1 sees Minnesota run AD. Adrian Peterson. He was running all day in this game. AD gets a couple of big runs on his possession. They complete multiple completions to Cordell Patterson, and they get a big one to Jerome Simpson down the sideline, which all adds up to a field goal. And you know the motto. Field goals don't win games. That's right, touchdowns. They do. So, even though this was a nice drive, started at the 1, you matriculate the ball all the way down the field, make a couple of big plays in the process, you only come away with 3. Packers still lead this game 7-6. Excellent drive by Christian Ponder as he guides the Vikes down the field, capped by a 1-yard Adrian Peterson 1-yard touchdown run right before the half. Vikings take the lead 13-7. So for all of the excitement that Scott Tozine run generated and the Packers jumping out to an early lead, maybe this was going to be the Packers' day to snap this losing streak. They went silent on me. Scott Tozine and the Packers offense can't sustain offense. They continue to punt the football, and the Vikings steadily chipped away at this lead until they finally got into the end zone. Now at the half, it's 13-7 Minnesota. So Vikings come out of the half. Christian Ponder once again sharp, and Christian Ponder was extremely efficient in this game, especially in the first three and a half quarters. I mean, he was really efficient. I mean, guys were open. He was hitting them with the football. If they had one-on-one coverage down the field, he was giving them a chance to go up and make a play. This is the Christian Ponder we saw last year at the end of the season when they had to have it against Green Bay at home, when he had his best game of his career. He was starting to play like that. He played like that against the Redskins before he got injured on Thursday Night Football. That first half against Seattle, I thought he played a really good football game. It fell apart in the second half. He was playing like that again. This is the thing that Christian Ponder loves to do. He loves to tease you with some really solid play. He can move. It was a couple of times in this game where you thought he was sacked. No way he gets away. He dips his shoulder, shows that sneaky athleticism, makes a play. He was doing the things that saw him get drafted where he was drafted when he was drafted. You know, and so it's so frustrating because you get this Christian Ponder, But in the same breath, you'll get the Christian Ponder that will throw it right to a linebacker, that will throw it right to a safety, that will fumble the ball because he's indecisive and staying in the pocket way too long. The Christian Ponder that will go through his reads, but do it in such a way that he's so slow going through his progressions that he gets sacked. And that's the Christian Ponder that you want to eliminate. You want that guy to go away somewhere, hide, and never come back. And you want this Christian Ponder to stick around for a while. But you never get the consistency you're looking for from Christian Ponder. But he was really sharp early on in this football game and midway through the third quarter. So he's extremely sharp on this possession as he leads the Vikings down the field, this time capping the possession off with a 12-yard Rhett Ellison touchdown pass. Vikings are up 20-7. What is going on in Green Bay? Good question. And it seems like Mike McCarthy has figured out the answer. And that answer is sitting Scott Tolzien down and entering into the football game one Matt Flynn. Now remember, Matt Flynn, ex-Packer, knows the playbook, was just signed with this team about a week ago. So even though there's a short turnaround for him, not a lot of time to adjust and reacclimate himself to this Packers team because it's a different team. There's no Greg Jennings on this football team anymore. And there's no Randall Cobb here. He's injured. So you're throwing the ball to Jarrett Boykins. You still got Jordy Nelson. You know him all too well. But there's no Jermichael Finley if you're Matt Flynn. He's injured. So you need to be finding Brandon Bostic or Andrew Quarles. So a lot of adjustments to make. No Tom Crabtree here anymore. So Flynn needed to come in and really be sharp quickly because Packers are already down 20-7. There's not a lot of room and margin for error. So he comes in and he's not able to just get it going just like that. Then the Vikings get the football back, and there's a drive dominated by the run. And the Packers, the thing that they couldn't afford to do in this game was give it up defensively. Look, your offense is struggling as it is. So defensively, you've got to be sharp. You've got to be the catalyst that helps this team snap the three-game losing streak. You can't be giving it up on the ground to Adrian Peterson. And of all things, Toby Gerhart, and he had a monster game as well. And so this drive was dominated by the run. Toby Gerhart gets in. He's eating up yardage on the ground. Adrian Peterson. I mean, they were tag teaming them. They were tagging in Toby for 12, Toby for 8, Toby for 7. He tag out. AD comes in, and he's going for 9. He's going for 6. He's going for 5. He's going for 11. He tag out, and Gerhart will come back in. He'd get 6. And then they ended up getting a field goal on this possession. It's now 23-7. So now you go from a 7-0 deficit to 23 unanswered points for the Minnesota Vikings. They're dominating this football game now. I mean, this game is all but over. As we enter into the fourth quarter, this game is done. I mean, the Packers had their opportunities to really jump on this Vikings team early, establish a tone, and run away with this game after that touchdown run by Scott Tolzien, and they did absolutely nothing after that point. Haven't even scored a point since then. Haven't even gotten into field goal range since then. And so, here we go. A Marcus Sherrill's pass interference leads to a touchdown for the Pack as Eddie Lacy gets in from 5 yards out. It's now 23-13. Packers were down 16 at the time of this score. After they scored, they were down by 10. They elected to go for 2. If you do your math, 16, you go for 2 twice, you'll tie the football game. They have an unsuccessful 2-point conversion, so that lead has been trimmed to 10 instead of 9 or 8. It's a 23-13 Minnesota Vikings lead. Then the Packers get the football back. A huge 4th down conversion by Eddie Lacy, and this was a grown man run. And there were a plethora of grown man runs in this game by Eddie Lacy. It's apparent to everyone that has been watching the National Football League this season and has been watching it in the past. The Packers got the better of the 2 Alabama backs. Eddie Lacy is head and shoulders above Trent Richardson, and it's not even close. And, I mean, a long time ago, you would have asked yourself, is that the case? And you would have thought, heck no. There's no way that Eddie Lacy is better than Trent Richardson, but it's apparent. Eddie Lacy is faster. Eddie Lacy is a more complete back. I won't say he's stronger because Trent Richardson is a strong man, but I tell you what, Eddie Lacy in his own right, he sheds tackles, he reads blocks well, he's not afraid of contact, and Trent Richardson isn't either, but he's just a better back. Simply put, he runs harder to me, faster, he's got better vision. The whole complete package. Eddie Lacy is the man. And on this fourth down run, he had to fight through about 3 Vikings tacklers to get to the first down marker, and he got there. I don't even know how he was able to do so. He made a great cut, and then the Vikings corralled him, and he somehow summons the strength to get to that marker. Huge first down pickup because he was huge on that drive, period. I mean, the Packers fed him the ball over and over and over again. And I said, man, is Eddie not tired? When he just get back up, get back, and they were running no huddle, so he really didn't have a chance to catch his breath. And they were even throwing it to him on this possession. I mean, he was doing it all on this drive. And this drive ended when Jarrett Boykins catches a 7-yard touchdown catch. Beautiful throw by Matt Flynn down low so that only Jarrett Boykins could catch it. It's now 23-20, Minnesota clinging to a 3-point lead. They need to do something, whether it's a field goal or maybe if you go into your 4-minute offense. The way you're running the football in this game, you go into that 4-minute offense and you're able to pick up about 3 or 4 first downs, make the Packers use their timeouts. You can ice this game away the way you have been running the football. But, of course, the Packers know you want to run the football. So maybe a nice little bootleg off of one of these runs with Christian Ponder. Maybe find your tight end Carlson or maybe Jerome Simpson or Cordell Patterson who's been having a big game. Find somebody, get some first downs, try to salt away this clock and get this victory. You've played too good in this football game. You've played too well to lose this game or have it go into overtime and have the Packers have new life. But you know the Vikings can't sustain that offense, can't put this game away. It's a reason why they're 2-8. And so they give the Packers back the football. Green Bay goes down the field, gets the game-time field goal to send this game into overtime. And in the overtime period, Packers drive down the field. They march right on down, and they get as close as the 4-yard line. Cannot get the football in the end zone. You know the motto. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. And in the old overtime rules, Packers win this game 23-20 in overtime with a field goal with the first possession of the overtime period. However, in this day and age, new overtime rules, if you don't score a touchdown on your first possession or you don't get a defensive stop, maybe a turnover and kick a field goal, if you get a field goal on your first possession, the other team gets a chance to match your field goal or to beat you with a touchdown. If the other team matches your field goal, then we play on, and then it's sudden death. Next score wins no matter what it is. So Packers settle for that field goal. It's 23-20, but Vikings get an opportunity to match that field goal or win the game. Well, that running game that I talked about, man, did it show up huge in this overtime possession as Toby Gerhart was an animal on this possession. So was Adrian Peterson. And like I said, these guys really hurt the Packers in this game. Adrian Peterson well over 100 yards. And Toby Gerhart was approaching 100 yards. I believe he had about 12 carries for about 96 yards. I mean, this Vikings running game, well over 200 yards rushing, and they were dominant in this game. However, that running game took them all the way down the field, but could not get them in the end zone. They, too, had to settle for a chip shot field goal, knotting this game up at 23. And then, with all of that running that the Vikings did, with all of the running and matriculating of the ball down the field the Packers did on their first drive of overtime, it's only like 4 minutes left in overtime after each team has had the ball in successful succession possessions. So the Packers get the ball after the Vikings score. They go 3 and out. They give it back to the Vikings, but there's no time left on the clock, essentially. So The Vikings get the football back with a matter of seconds. They try to throw a pass to Cordell Patterson, and he's a dangerous guy. He makes a couple of defenders miss, but the Packers ultimately wrap him up and get him down, and the game's over. It's a tie. No! 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 I don't want a tie. Nothing's worse than having to say someone's record and put that extra one at the end. I had to do that all last year because we had a tie, and I forget who. The Rams and the 49ers had that stinking tie last year, and I found myself having to say 7-8-1 and 10-5-1. That's ridiculous. I hate having to do that. Now I have to do it again as the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings play to a tie. So now the Minnesota Vikings are 2-8-1, and the Green Bay Packers are 5-5-1. Yuck. So it's not a loss, but you might as well call it one if you're the Packers. It doesn't really do you any good. The only way this tie saves you is if at the end of the day, your division is won, and let's say you end up with 6 losses, okay? And your division is won with 7 losses. Well, you'll have 6. Let's say you end up with a record of 9-6-1. Everybody else is 9-7. You'll win this division by virtue of this one nasty tie that you got. So it could conceivably save you in the end because, of course, a tie is better than a loss, but not by much. Not by much. But it's not a loss. And so this could come down to a situation where this tie could ultimately save you in the standings. I don't know. But by you getting this tie and the events that occurred in Detroit and in St. Louis, you're still right there because the Lions and the Bears don't want to run away with this division. They don't want this division. They want you to come back and take it. They want Aaron Rodgers to come back from that collarbone injury and sweep this division away from both of them. That's what they want. They don't want this division. They want you to have it. They keep saying, you know what? It'd only be right if the Packers won this division. We could win it, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right when the Packers aren't the NFC North champions. So what we'll do, and me, and this is the Bears talking, me and the Lions, we've already talked, and it just doesn't seem right if the Packers don't win this division. So I'll tell you what, we'll just keep choking away this season, and we'll allow Aaron Rodgers to come back, and we'll keep this division on ice for you. We won't go anywhere. We'll just hold it, keep it warm, and then when you're ready, we'll give you the seat. You can have it. How about that? Packers said, you know what? That's a lovely gesture. I really appreciate it. But, I mean, if you guys want to go ahead, you can go ahead and take it, man. It's all right. You know, we're totally fine, you know, with our quarterback being out right now. Maybe we don't need to go to the playoffs. They said, no, that's hogwash. He'll be back. We'll just hold it for you. And when you're ready, just let us know, and we'll hand the division back over to you. And the Packers said, you guys are the greatest. Thanks a lot. And so, hey, Green Bay, when you're ready, the division is there for you to take it. It's there for the taking. It's yours. Just let me know when Aaron is ready to go. And the Bears and the Lions, they'll slide and glide to the side, and they'll let you have this division because they don't want it. They don't want it. And as bad as you've been playing throughout this 4-game or 3-game and a tie streak, you should be nowhere near the top of this division. Yet, you're only about a half a game back. Amazing. So, Vikings, Packers play to a tie, 23-all. Vikings drop to 2-8-1 on the season. Packers fall to 5-5-1 on the season. I hate saying that. That's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. It happens in the National Football League. Whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 12 in the National Football League. Come back and join me because I've got plenty more to break down. in week 12 of the National Football League.